In this training video, we'll explore the ways you can take attendance, manage waitlists, and make changes to a customer's enrollment through transfers, enrollment edits, and cancellations. We'll start by exploring the available waitlist and attendance options found under Settings. To find Settings, you'll click on your business name in the top right corner and open the Main Account menu. From here, click Settings. At the top, you'll see Waitlists and a toggle option next to it. This setting controls your default for waitlists. When toggled on, shown in green, this will automatically turn on the waitlist option for newly created scheduled activities. This ensures that a waitlist will be started once an activity is at capacity. You will still have the ability to turn the waitlist setting off or on for specific scheduled activities if you'd like. When toggled off, you'll only have the ability to turn on waitlists on an individual basis when creating and editing scheduled activities. To turn this setting off, simply drag the toggle until it turns gray. Scroll down on this page to find Default Roster Type. There are two different roster options within Sawyer. You can set a default to either Attendance View or Check-in Check-out View. The setting for Attendance View is Common Attendance Display used across a variety of business types. In this view, you'll be able to mark whether a student is absent or present on the roster. For Check-in and Check-out View, this option's great for after-school programs or drop-off programs such as camps and schools that may need to record more information when students are checked in and out for activities. In this view, you can record the time when a student checks in, who checked in the student, and add any additional notes. Once the student is checked in, you can then record the same information for the student's checkout time. You can also add in check-in forms to your roster. These forms and questions will appear on the check-in modal for any scheduled activity that has check-in, check-out as the roster setting. Similar to form fields, you can set a form field title here. This can be something like check-in questions. Let's explore these options by clicking the three-dot menu and clicking Edit. Here you can see that we've set Camp Check-in Questions as the form title. For all of the options, temperature checked, vaccination verified, snack dropped off, and collected allergy form, these will show up for your staff to select when answering the field during the check-in process. For example, they can select which of the following items were checked once the student is checked in for camp. Now that you've configured some default settings, click Save. Now that you've configured your default settings, let's walk through how to take attendance and manage waitlists from your class rosters. Using the left navigation menu, we'll click on Upcoming. On this page, you'll see the upcoming calendar. Each colored block shown on the calendar represents the published scheduled activities. To open up a roster view, click into a scheduled activity block. We'll navigate to next week to learn more. From here, you'll see an example of a roster that has the attendance view configured. For each registered student, you'll see a check or an X on the right side of the roster. Instructors can click the check to mark that a student was present, or click the X to mark that a student was absent. To see a student's attendance history for this activity, you can click the three-dot menu found next to Attendance Actions and select View Attendance from the menu. This will show you the student's attendance history and each date of the activity. If a student's attendance was not recorded for that date, you'll also have the ability to update an attendance record. Here's an example of a roster that has our check-in, check-out view configured. For each registered student, you'll see a check-in button on the right side of the roster. An instructor can click the check-in button to open the options for the student. In the pop-up, the check-in form questions and options are displayed at the top. Options can be checked off or left blank by instructors. For example, for the camp check-in questions, if the temperature has been checked and the vaccination has been verified, but snack and allergy form was not collected, the bottom two form field questions can be skipped. Under the Check-in By field, the instructor can record the name of the person dropping the student off, and in the notes box, they can add any optional notes. Once confirmed, click the Confirm button to move forward. You'll notice that once a student is checked in, the button next to the student's name changes to Check Out. Once the student is being picked up, the instructor can click the Check Out button. In the pop-up, The field checked out by can be used to record the name of the person picking the student up, and optional notes can be added in the notes field. Scroll down to confirm. When a student has been checked in or out, you'll notice that the checked in, checked out status updates with the time and checked in details shown below the student's contact info on the roster. Here you'll also be able to view notes by clicking the View Notes link. Now we'll show you how to manage students on the waitlist from the roster. Once you're on a roster with a waitlist, you'll see 3 sections: Booked, Canceled, and Waitlisted. To view students on the waitlist, click on Waitlisted. Please note, when a student is added to a waitlist, no payment information is collected from the potential customer, as this is just a way for them to show interest in the activity and add themselves to the waitlist with no monetary commitment. The waitlist is great to see when you have interest and can open up spots, especially as enrollment is fluctuating. Here you'll see the details for all students who have been added to the waitlist. The students will be listed in order of the date added and time. The date will be shown in the right corner next to the student's information. Click the 3-dot menu on the right side of the screen to see more actions. From here, you have 2 options for waitlisted students. You can email the student to let them know that a spot has become available, or remove from waitlist. While the waitlist feature lets you track interest when an activity has reached capacity, it does not regulate who gets to sign up if new spots become available. It also does not hold spots automatically for the number of students on a waitlist. Instead, all available spots are first come, first serve, just the same as if the class did not have a waitlist. When a spot becomes available due to a cancellation, transfer, or if you're a business that likes to increase the capacity of your activities, we recommend emailing the first person on the waitlist by clicking Email the Student, or by messaging all students on the waitlist to let them know that a spot is available through the messaging feature on the roster. If you want to email the individual student, simply click the Email Student and open up the message options. If you watched our video all about messaging, this should look familiar. If you'd like to send a message to all waitlisted students, click the message option located next to class notes. Then select Waitlisted as your group to push through a message to all waitlisted students to offer the spot. Once a customer responds to outreach and would like to register for the class, or to let you know that they are no longer interested, you have 2 options. To accept the student into the class, you'll want to complete the new order process to place an order on behalf of the customer. You can also send the customer a link to purchase this class directly. If the customer is declining the spot and is no longer interested, click the 3-dot menu and choose Remove from Waitlist. This will officially remove the student from the waitlist, and you'll be asked to confirm by clicking Yes, Remove. If you've changed your mind or need to return, you can click No, Never Mind. Once the student has been removed, you'll see the new count listed under the Waitlist tab. Now let's review the options for making adjustments to a student's registration or bookings in Sawyer. While customers can request to make changes to their schedule, as a business, you alone have the flexibility to make adjustments to their enrollment. You can complete these actions from an activity roster or directly from a customer's profile on their booking tab. Since we're already on a class roster, we'll start here. Let's go to the Booked tab on the roster. Next to each student's name, you'll see a More Options or 3-dot menu. Click this menu to review the available options. The following actions can be used to make adjustments to a student's registration. The first is Transfer Single Date. This allows you to transfer the student for a single date of enrollment. For example, if a student is registered for a 15-week class that takes place every Wednesday, but needs to make a switch to a Thursday class only for one date because they're going out of town, you would use this option. Click this option to begin a single date transfer. On the left side of the page, you'll see the student's information and primary contact name and email. On the right side of the page, you'll see the student's current activity details displayed at the top. Next, you'll see the Transfer To actions. Here you can choose to search by activity or by date. If you're searching by activity, this allows you to select a specific activity title and then check full date availability for the customer. First, you'll select your activity from the drop-down menu by typing in the text box or scrolling through your options. Then, select the new date of the selected activity. This will show the number of available spots for the date. If you're searching by date, this allows you first to select a date using the calendar picker. Then you can select your target activity. This will also show spots available for the program. Click Continue once your selections have been made. The final step to transfer is the confirmation screen. This allows you to do a final review before officially confirming the transfer. The customer does receive a confirmation email whenever you make a transfer. Click Confirm Transfer to return to the roster. Once the transfer has been confirmed, the student will no longer show in the original booked section of the original class roster and will now be listed under the Canceled tab. You will be automatically taken to the new roster where you'll see where the student has transferred from. The next step in the menu is Edit Enrollment. To edit all dates of a student's enrollment for a semester or camp, or make additions to the days of the week for a student's multi-day enrollment, you'll use the Edit Enrollment option. For example, you could use this if a student is registered for an 8-week art camp and now wants to permanently transfer to an 8-week sports camp. Or you could use this if a student is registered for a multi-day activity on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays and now wants to add Tuesday and Thursday because they love the program so much. Once you click Edit Enrollment, this will open up the modal. On the left-hand side of the page, you'll see the student information and primary contact name and email. On the right side of the page, you'll see the student's current activity details displayed at the top. Then you'll see the new enrollment actions. Select the target activity from the drop-down menu by typing in the text box or scrolling through options. This is to find the new option that you're going to be transferring the student into. This will show how many spots are currently available for the program. Next, select your start date for the enrollment change. This allows you to keep historical roster and enrollment details and select the start date for the new enrollment. When editing enrollment, we recommend taking a moment here to double check that the dates and details are correct. Once you've selected your date, click Continue. On the final step, you'll see options to confirm the details with the customer. This allows you to do a final review before confirming the transfer. The customer receives an order confirmation whenever you make a transfer. But please note that transferring a student does not charge or refund the customer. If you need to complete these actions, please follow the steps outlined in the Orders and Financials video. Once finished, click Confirm Transfer and return to the roster. In addition to transferring and editing enrollment options, you also have the ability to remove a student from a specific date of the roster or remove them permanently from the activity. Please note that these actions do allow you to remove or cancel the student's enrollment, but do not automatically process a refund. These actions will not change the original order details for the customer. If you need to remove from a day, it allows you to remove the student from the current roster. If you remove from the entire semester, this allows you to remove the student from all rosters for all future dates. You can also complete transfer or edit enrollment actions directly from a customer's profile while on their Booking tab. To do this, you can head to the main menu and go to Contacts. You can also access a customer's profile by clicking a specific client name directly from the roster. To go to Contacts, click on Contacts and then use the search bar at the top to find a specific customer's name. Click into the profile to go to the Bookings tab. Here you'll see a list of activity bookings and dates that each student is booked for each of the activities. If a customer has multiple student profiles on their account, you'll be able to view all of the students' details here. Click the 3-dot or More Actions menu next to the booking details and complete the same steps as before. You'll notice in these actions you have the following options. You can transfer a student's single date enrollment, edit their full enrollment to make a complete transfer, view attendance history, or easily access the original order history for this information. Now that we've learned the ways to take attendance, manage waitlists, and adjust customer bookings in Sawyer, our next video is all about how to manage schedules and editing your scheduled activities.